Hello and welcome to a series of short training videos for the creation of broker contracts. Today, we will be discussing the process of creating contracts in the Dubai broker system, specifically focusing on the creation of Contract A. So, let's get started. What you're currently seeing is the login page. You can log in either by username and password or by mobile number. Please click on Login to proceed. As you can see, there are a few menu items. On the top menu you will see pending requests, permits, contracts, and owner's green list. The left side menu will change according to the options selected from the top menu. We will jump straight to the creation of contracts. So what is Contract A? It is the agreement between the seller and a broker. Contract B is the agreement between the buyer and the broker. The broker for both seller and buyer could be the same or could be different. Contract F is the unified contract that is between the seller and the buyer that will be used in conducting the sale transaction at the registration trustee office. Now, let's dive into the details of creating these contracts and their business rules. As a high-level journey, there are three main steps. The first step is to create Contract A between the seller and the broker. This contract has to be used in Exclusivity system for smart permits to advertise on real estate marketplaces. This is a mandatory requirement for all real estate advertisements. Click on the Contract A menu. Here you can see there are two ownership types, one for the owner person and the other for the owner company. Based on that, the requirements will vary on the subsequent steps. For this demo, we will create a contract for ownership type as owner person. Here, there are a few things to keep in mind. It is important to validate the title deed of the property. This can be done either through Dubai REST app or the DLD website. Once the property is validated, you will be able to access the details of the property and enter additional information. In case you're unable to verify the title deed information, in most cases it's not updated in DLD systems. To update, the owner can visit the registration trustee office to update with the latest information against the property. Let's key in the title deed information. And you have to make sure that the entered title deed information is the latest one, and there are no restraints or block on the property, no auction, no restricted, and license information is correct if the property is company owned. From where do you get the latest deed? The owner can log into the Dubai REST app and retrieve the latest title deed information. There are three owner verification methods that is available in the system: by date of birth, passport number, or by Emirates ID registered in the DLD systems. Click on Save and continue to move to the next screen. Here you can see the property details are fetched from DLD systems, and you are free to fill in other additional optional information required for marketing purposes. It is important to note that as per the Land Department regulation, there can be a maximum of 3 Contract A agreements on a property. Let us move on. The next step is to enter owner information details. Here, you must select whether the lead was received through the green list. If you find that the owner's contact information is incorrect, you can modify it along with a signed undertaking letter. It is important to ensure that the undertaking is legitimate, as violations may result in fines. If there are more than one owner sharing the property, then each party should have their own contact information and it cannot be the same. The exception are if the owner's age is more than 65 or an heir scenario. The owner's contact information will be used for all communication purposes throughout the contract lifecycle. Furthermore, you have the option to modify the selling area that the owner is interested in selling, whether it is partial, full, or a certain percentage of the share. You also need to specify who will be present at the time of registration. If the owner is not present at the time of registration, you must add the owner representative details along with the mandatory documents as shown on the screen. This is required if the owner is outside the country. Ensure the POA has a valid expiry date in order not to get stuck during the entire contract creation process. Representative information is mandatory if the seller is a minor. Before proceeding to the next step, it is important to confirm the owner's information as well. Let's move to the next step. In this screen you have to confirm if there is an active Ajari contract registered for the property. If there is a valid Ajari, the details will be auto-populated. There are cases there could be a tenancy contract that is not registered in Ajari, those contracts will not be shown here. Next is the financial information. The sell price mentioned here is the asking price and not the final sale price. The final price will be mentioned in Contract F. This is primarily used for marketing purposes. Please enter the average service charge amount and enter 0 if it is not applicable on the property. Next is the commission and duration. The contract start date could be a minimum of 1 day or a maximum of 1 year. The default value is set to 2 months. The commission can be entered either in AED amount or a percentage value. The maximum allowed percentage is 20%. Then you specify whether this property requires NOC from the developer or not. Followed by that, you need to mention whether the broker is going to pay for any of the advertising fees of the property. This could vary from scenario to scenario. If the property is marked as exclusive, then no other broker can create additional Contract A on this. If the land is owned by the developer and is under mortgage, then the developer cannot sell the units till it is cleared of from the bank. Once you have completed filling in the information for the commission and duration, you can enter the notes and review the entire application before submitting it to the owner for approval. Please take a moment to review all the information before submission. The contract is now submitted and the owner will receive the link for approval by SMS and email. If it is not received by the owner for any reason, alternatively you can copy or send the contract activation link from the Contract A details screen. The seller should review Contract A in detail. It can either be approved or rejected. If it's rejected, then it goes back to the broker for any modification. Let's do the approval process. Now the contract has been successfully accepted by the seller. Notification is sent to the seller for approval, modification, cancellation, and editing. After approval of Contract A, there are additional actions that can be taken such as extension, cancellation, editing, and creation of Contract F. You can download the contract, and to view the document you will have to enter the expiry date of the contract as shown on the screen. Let us try a modification procedure to the contract quickly. Now the contract has been modified and sent for approval. The seller can now take action accordingly. This marks the completion of Contract A creation. Thank you for watching, and we will now move to the creation of Contract B.